Thank you for listening to this worship podcast of St. Andrew Lutheran Church. I am Peter Johnson, Interim Senior Pastor. We hope this recording provides you with a moment of God's grace wherever this finds you. Know that you're welcome to join us in person for worship in Eden Prairie on Sunday mornings at 9 or 10:30. And also know that any contribution you make will bolster St. Andrew's ministry and outreach, including our podcasting directly to you. You can do so online. Welcome and God's blessings to you. We have two scripture readings this morning. The first is taken from Luke chapter 24. While they were talking about this, Jesus stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." They were startled and terrified and thought that they were seeing a ghost. He said to them, "Why are you frightened? And why do you doubts arise in your hearts? Look at my hands and my feet. See that it is I myself. Touch me and see, for a ghost does not have flesh and bones, as you see that I have." And when he had said this, he showed them his hands and his feet. While in their joy they were disbelieving and still wondering, he said to them, "Have you anything here to eat?" They gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he took it and ate in their presence. And the second reading is taken from the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter. "Those who are wise shall shine in the brightness of the sky, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
And this hat is available to you right out in the narthex. I'll do a little Mary Tyler Moore action here. They're nice hats, let me tell you. They thought they were seeing a ghost. Doubt, fish, stars, and a risen Christ. I spend hours on the road these days. I know I-35, I was there this morning. I know 94. I know 494. Highway 36 was beautiful this morning. 62, 212, Technology Drive, Larpenteur, Hennepin, I know them all. I'm there. And this means that my life is interrupted daily by bumper stickers. Lots and lots and lots of bumper stickers. They are absolutely part of my daily routine. Now, the speed determines what I see. 65, just a glance, but boy, when it goes to a crawl, stoplight, oh, and I build relationships with those bumper stickers. Maybe you do too. But this one, love people, cook them tasty food. It caught my eye. It really did. I must have been stopped at a really long light. Love people, cook them tasty food. And I read it again. And I read it again and again and again. Where did it come from? Was the driver a chef? Maybe a foodie, I don't know. And what print shop decided that it should go public and that it would go on a bumper sticker so other drivers could be behind it and ponder it too? Now I was absolutely lost in thought. Then it was, it's really sacramental. Didn't Jesus invite us to love people? Yes. And cook them tasty food? Jesus served 5,000 people. But by then, someone was honking behind me and the light had turned green. I immediately called my husband Dave because I was driving and I needed it to be written down. "Dave, are you on a laptop? Do you have a pen? Do you have a pencil, paper? You have to write this down. Love people, cook them tasty food." And what a perfect theme for this morning. as we celebrate Spirit in the Pines and the incredible camping and outdoor ministry of this congregation, St. Andrew. What a way to cast away doubt and simply believe, to love people and cook them tasty food. It was 1963. Now, it's a really long time ago, I know, especially for you in the front. 1963. I was alive then. I was a little girl, and my family was on the way to the mountains. My dad, a pastor, a Lutheran pastor, was part of a group of faith leaders who had a vision to set aside an old sheepherder's cabin to become a Bible camp, a place where kids could go and meet Jesus through counselors and other campers in nature and God's incredible creation. Spirit in the Pines has a birth narrative too, and I am anxious to hear it again and again and again. But that day, way back in 1963, was an exciting day. We were going to dedicate this place to the glory of God. We were going to set it aside for kids and adults generations to come. So my family loaded up our VW Bug. Yes, it was a Bug just like this one. And I mean, we loaded it up. 3 kids in the back, 2 cats, gear for the weekend, and my mom and my dad. We drove from our home in Colorado Springs to Fort Collins, Colorado. We slept overnight on a church floor. And then the absolute most exciting part, as a little girl, we drove 40 miles up and up and up a gravel road. The camp sits at 9,200 feet elevation, and the last obstacle was the hardest. My dad said, "Hold your breath," because we had to fit this Bug across 2 logs that went across a raging mountain stream, and I knew we were going to die. But we didn't. And suddenly, the Ponderosa Pines opened up into the most beautiful mountain meadow. And right there, was Stormy Peak and Golgotha and Comanche Peak. Soon you will see that on the second slide. There you go. And a place that would become the launching pad, the centerpiece of my life, Sky Ranch Bible Camp. This place would nurture me and stretch me as a little girl camper and a middle school hiker, and employ me as a ranch hand in high school and a backpack guide in college, and I would gain confidence and develop a love of God's creation and God's people. It was, for me, the first time away from home and family, the place of questions about Jesus and life and faith with kids my own age and the counselors, and I think you probably are all counselors. Oh, the counselors. Back in those days, I waited for the printed on a piece of paper brochure so I could look at the pictures of each one of the counselors. And as a little girl, I would study them, really, really study their bios. And I learned their names, the names of the colleges and universities where they went, what they were majoring in. I knew the towns and cities, and I wanted to go there. I wanted to be them. It was a place to experiment for me with independence. I think, don't listen, parents and grandparents, but I think it's the first place I had a crush on another little camper boy. But it gave me a place in this world, and it was fun and wacky. And back in the day, the really faithful Bible camp songs were Puff the Magic Dragon and One Tin Soldier. And we hiked and had campfires and learned to love people and cook them tasty food, freeze-dried for backpacking and homemade bread for the camp. This is what we are celebrating today here at St. Andrew. It is this congregation's ongoing commitment through Spirit in the Pines to kids and the people who love them, to the counselors and faith and Jesus, all lived out in a complicated world. And I think there'll probably be skits and songs and lakes and hikes, right? Maybe a week ago or more, I got to do my very first confirmation interview here at St. Andrew. Because I'm so new, I was just meeting these cool kids and the parents and family for the first time. And my question was, how did you guys get to St. Andrew? And my very first one was camp. It was camp. I love camp. I don't know if we're members or not. I don't know. But I know my friend asked me to come with her, and I have never, ever missed, and I want to be a counselor. It is my favorite place on earth. I need to go there too, I think. The theme for this summer is Shine Like Stars. And she was certainly a twinkle for me. This verse, of all things, it's in the Bible, is from the book of Daniel. And way back, thousands of years, the world is absolutely falling apart, but there is a vision of an awakening when the wise among them will shine like the stars. And I can imagine all of these little stars shining brightly. There it is. Those stars are going to shine there this summer. Maybe a little frightened and nervous and scared for the first time away from home. Young people and counselors and staff who will love them, encourage them with skits and campfires and games, and I'll bet there'll be some ticks. And rain and a lake and service and fun, and they will be our theme for today, rising from their doubts. Because Bible camps are places where doubts are welcomed and doubts are checked at the door. And all that is left is Jesus, just Jesus, the one who has promised to be with us no matter what. Oh yes, Jesus. We can't forget Jesus today. Jesus, we meet today, risen from the dead. He stood among his disciples who are startled, they're terrified, scared to death. In fact, so scared that they thought they were seeing you heard it, a ghost. A ghost. Jesus? But ghosts don't have hands and feet. Ghosts don't get hungry. Ghosts don't eat broiled fish, shore lunch, fish and chips. But you know what? Jesus does. The risen Christ does. Today, Jesus has walked into our lives right here, risen and alive, bringing us a message that we really need to hear. Peace be with you, every one of you. This summer, Jesus will greet 750 campers. Jesus will welcome 150 high school, 10th through 12th grade counselors, and Jesus will be there every step of the way with 22 residential staff. Shining stars, each one. And maybe, just maybe, many of them, just like little girl me so long ago, will be captured, captivated by the Spirit, called to live out a life, inspired to love people, and to cook them tasty food. Maybe as truck drivers and teachers, I don't know, musicians, firefighters, maybe a pastor, I don't know, a mom or a dad, you get to fill in the blank. Because Jesus did just that. He loved people, and he cooked tasty food. Mostly a little wine and some bread. And we are gathered this morning as that community of shining stars who have been called to love. And Jesus has gotten up early this morning to bake some really good caramel rolls. Or at least encourage Elliot. But first, we get to gather at Jesus' table, right here, to touch him and to hear these words, "This is my body given for you. This is my blood shed for you." Just a taste, just a sip of grace, and a whole lot of love. Enough for the day. Amen.
Thank you for listening to this worship podcast of St. Andrew Lutheran Church. We hope that this recording provides you with a moment of God's grace wherever this finds you.
Any contribution you make to St. Andrew will bolster our ministry and outreach, including our podcasting directly to you. You can do so online. Thank you for joining us for this podcast, and I wish you every blessing from Christ today.